We're doing Sculpt January 2022. And I think I went live a second before I should have. Today's prompt is skull and bones. Oh gosh, I can hear myself. Sorry about this. At least my audio is working today. I've got so many Firefox windows open that I can't find the one that has Twitch or YouTube or something. I'll edit this part out. Where in the heck? There it is. Quit playing audio, you dingus. Sorry about the slow start here. Anyways, I'm doing Node Spaghetti live. Sculpt January 2022. Today is Skull and Bones, and I'm using spaghetti rules, which means I can skip it, or trade it, or transfer it, or combine it, or whatever, if I want to. In this case, I don't want to, because this one's going to be fun. When I read the prompt, Skull and Bones, I immediately thought of over here. I immediately thought of what I used to do in drawing class when I was in university. So the university that I went to has drawing lessons where the students will basically just stand around with gigantic easels that are this big, and they will draw still lifes of animal bones and even some human bones, which I think is creepy. But one of the best drawings I ever drew was a real human skeleton, and I don't know how to feel about that. But anyways, today we're gonna be doing cow skull, or at least trying, and that way I can also combine it with. I could have sworn one of these was horns. Paws? No. Long teeth? They don't really have long teeth. They do have organic weapons, which is what the horns are. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's get to it. Don't think I need to draw a design today, because I can borrow one from nature. I actually have a cow skull over there. You can't see it. It's not on camera. But I bought one while I was in art school because I thought, oh, this will help me do my homework. And I don't think I have drawn a picture of that one yet, even though I spent like $80 on it. Thing was hard to ship. Anyhow, let's get started in Blender. So, probably not cheating to use reference images for this. Wonder if I can just drag and drop from the internet. Doesn't look like I can. Maybe that works on Windows. I haven't tried it. Go. Hey, look, it's even got alpha. How deluxe. I wonder if I can find one from the front view. That's close enough. And gotta be a top view somewhere that's usable. I should note that I don't pull up textures just from a random image search. but I think it's okay to use anything you want as a reference image. And it should be, so, you know, that's what I'm doing here. Um, just save these images and bring them into Blender. And let's go front. Oh, whoops. Uh, You are skull top. Oh no. Arrange our reference photos. Now this is not an exact top view, so I'm not going to arrange it as exact top view. Have I ever mentioned that I love Blender's 3D cursor? Here you can kind of see why. Because I can use it, the reference point for multiple views, to line up my reference photos. I do this with every project. There we go. This one's a much higher resolution than the other one. That's just a bit bigger. Like it's not quite aligned. It's really worth spending the time to do this sort of thing, especially if you've got good reference images that are actually symmetrical. I do have alpha, but this one doesn't. That's annoying. Oh, this whole thing is rotated 90 degrees also. Let's fix that. There we go. Now let's begin blocking out the shape. I can do this with the modeling tools, right? No one says that everything in Sculpt January has to be done with the sculpting tools. This is the way I want to do it. This is the way I'm going to do it. I do things my way. That's how I know they get done right. Quick hydration break there. It's important to stay hydrated. Pretty sure it has a really bad effect on your health if you don't drink enough water. One of my coworkers is always asking me, "Hey man, are you getting enough water? Can I get some water for you?" Pretty cool. I should start doing that. But I'm so focused on what I'm doing, I never stop to think about others. Got kind of a funny coincidence about that drawing class. When I was in high school, I actually managed to get the credit for that class. So I didn't need to take it, but I still took it anyways. Hey, welcome to No Spaghetti Live. Good to see you. You know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the Void. And that's okay. But anyways, so I didn't need the credit for that art class. Because I'd already taken an art thing in high school that qualified me for it. But I decided to take it anyways because everybody was telling me, "Oh, it's worth your time. It's really good. It's good education. It's good learning." And it was. I don't usually have good things to say about higher education. Uh, I didn't have a bad experience in university by any means, but I just feel like most of my classes were kind of a waste of time, and there was just a handful of classes mostly at the end that weren't. But that drawing class was one of the ones that was absolutely worth all the time I put into it. And you don't think that at first. You think, oh, it's just standing around in a room with a gigantic easel drawing pictures of old bones. That's not even fun. I want to draw people, right? Or maybe you want to do landscapes. I don't really know what other people want to do. I wanted to draw people. Uh, and I ended up getting so much better at drawing during that course of gosh, it was only about 3 months, maybe not even. Um, I went in there probably one of the better students when it comes to drawing skills. That's not to pat myself on the back or anything, but I was, like I said, I had already gotten the credit. I didn't really need to take the class, and I was kind of ahead of the curve. Man, after it was over, I was barely above average, and the long and short of it is that drawing is something that anybody can learn if it's taught the right way. Um, and I'm thankful that I got a chance to experience that, and I hope I get to pass it along someday a little bit because I, I can't tell you how often I encounter 3D artists that say, "Oh, you're doing 3D art. What do you need to know to draw for? Just make the computer do it for you." And it's very mistaken because if you can't draw, then how are you going to work on designing stuff? How are you gonna uh, how are you gonna plan for the work you're doing? You're not going to because you're not equipped for it. You don't really know what you're doing, and maybe that's a little bit too harsh of a criticism, but I just I think it's an important part of being a professional is to be good at things that you don't know if for sure if you need to do them. Because if you ever do need to do them, well, oh, now you're in a pickle because you don't know how to do it because you didn't prepare, but your client's asking for it, and you already gave them a deadline. You're like, well, you're just going to have to change your schedule because I gave you a bad estimate. Sorry, bro. Like that's that's not very professional. Um, one of the nice things about school is that kind of forces you to do those jobs that you think are dreadfully boring and stupid. Otherwise, you stick to doing only what you like, and and you end up with like the same five things in your portfolio. That's just the thing that you repetitively draw. Or at least in my case, I'm I'm kind of I have a tendency to fixate on things. Um, Kind of funny though, because like I said, I prefer to draw people because people move around, they have faces, they have emotions, they do things. More than anything, I was interested in like drawing action and motion. At the time that I started university, I mean, I don't know if that's really true anymore today, but um, the funny thing is that when I actually got the chance to do that class, the figure drawing class, it was just terrible because it wasn't being taught the same way as the other ones. Professor was just some million-year-old chump that had no idea how to teach. And I don't really know how he got the job, but he made my for how much I loved the first drawing class, second one was just as awful. And it's a shame because it was a subject that I would have preferred to work with. And it's not like you get a chance to work with live models every day, right? So he kind of robbed me of my chance to improve my portfolio, and I'm still pretty bitter about that, to be honest. I paid for that class, gosh darn it. I didn't even have the decency to give me a good grade, even though, like, if I was drawing badly, it's because I was following his instructions instead of just drawing. Oh man, I'm still angry about that. Oh, I can't get over how angry this makes me, just thinking about it. Is there any reason I'm not using a mirror modifier? Maybe it's because I'm a dingus? Let's go ahead and do it. Mirror, let's bisect it. And how's that look? So, and it's getting screwed up. Wait a second, what's going on there? Triangles, gross. There we go. I don't need to bisect it. Hello, Meditat, good to see you. Welcome to Nut Spaghetti Live. I've decided to do Sculpt January to get myself back into the swing of making videos, because it's just so intimidating to sit down at your computer and open up the broadcaster and think, I have to turn on my camera now. So if I force myself to do 30 videos, then I won't have any excuse to feel nervous anymore. That's my hope anyways. It's probably still gonna happen. I've been too busy with my day job to do anything. Anyways, if you're here to stay, make yourself comfy. If you're just checking it out, that's also fun. Nice to see you. I was talking about my university classes, my drawing classes. The reason I chose to draw a cow is because that was our assignments in university. We had to draw these still lives of all kinds of different bones and stuff. And I was complaining about my idiot drawing 2 class. My professor for that class was for how much I love to draw and how much I love to draw people in particular. I just can't believe how much that class sucked. Oh man. So to put it into perspective, right? The drawing 1 class that I took, I didn't even need the credit, but I still took it. Was amazing because the professor and the professor's assistant would both go around the class and help us follow their instructions and do the things that we were supposed to do. But they actually would also, they would encourage us to be creative and point out the good things that are happening, even if they aren't necessarily what we were supposed to be doing and such and such. Appropriate behavior for an instructor in an art class, I would assume. But the second guy would just have us do this like weird thing where he would have us try to draw an envelope around the figure, around the model, right, on our canvas. But for the first month and a half of this 3-month class, he wouldn't let us go beyond that point. So he was like, just get used to drawing this envelope around the figure, and after you get good at that, then you can start to draw the model, and he was always saying stuff about how our class was so behind, and how, he was having to make up for other professors that hadn't taught us right, and like, and I had just gotten out of that super great class where I'd learned so much, and where all my classmates that came in not knowing how to draw were as good as I was, better than I was when I came in, even though I had been practicing and learning for years at that point. Um, uh, and like the worst part about it was this envelope that he made us draw around the figure. He didn't even let us choose the way we were going to do that. He made us start with the head. So, the model's standing there doing a pose. You get your envelope, point of the head, point of the arm, the around the shape of how the figure looks from your perspective. And by the time you're done drawing that in the like stupid way that we were asked to do it, the model has moved because nobody can stand that still for that long. Uh, just not possible. Uh, so he would make us start over and do it again. Of course, that wouldn't stay right for long. It would just be wrong in a different way. And then the session would end, and we'd take our break and come back, and then the model would be standing in a totally different place after the fact. But no opportunity uh, to adapt to that. It would just make us keep starting over, keep starting over, keep starting over. Drove me crazy. I was having to go outside of class to 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 get drawings done for my portfolio that I needed to do to get into uh my real course. The thing that I'd actually decided to go to university for was the very difficult to get into exclusive um, animation program. So he was putting all of that at jeopardy just so that he could just so that he could power trip in a classroom full of 19-year-old second year college students. Oh, I'm still mad about that. That must have been 5 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. He gave me a B. I got a B in that class. So mad about that. Anyways, thank you for listening to me rant about that. That's why I chose to do this for Skull and Bones. Uh, and the jawbone is going to have to count for the bones part of that. Because I don't care to do the rest of it. So this is going to be hard enough, especially since I only want to spend maybe 2 hours working on it. You eventually need to go to sleep. Guess people like to sleep, right? The weird thing about jaws is that they're actually kind of separated the whole way down, aren't they? Yeah, I don't know even if it was that the professor didn't understand it or if it was because he was just trying to be, you know, I'm 68 years old and I know what I'm doing, kind of thing. Because he had been a professor at my university in the past, and I don't know if he got fired or if he quit or if he moved on or what, but he had come back, so he felt like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before, but yeah, he didn't. And the weird, the thing that just makes my blood boil. in memory of it all was the one time I decided, you know what, I hate this guy, I hate this class. I don't care if I get a good grade because this guy's not going to treat me fairly. I'm just going to draw the way I want to draw. So after frustratingly, like for 3 class days, I worked on his method that he'd spent the whole 2 months of class teaching us before he even let us freaking draw on our own. And I'm like, screw this. I don't care. I hate this guy. There was 50 minutes left in class, and the model from the next class over came in, and he's like, "Oh, hey, can you just give us a 50-minute pose?" And she's like, "Oh, okay." So I'm in 15 minutes. I just quickly sketched the way that had been doing in my own like practice work for years at that point. And the professor points at my drawing and he says, "That's so good. Look at the other drawing on the page, the one that I did his way. You can see the anger in this drawing. But this one right here, when you just let loose and go with it, this one works really well." I, Ironic thing is that the drawing that had all the anger in it was the one that was good. I mean, there was a lot of anger in the one that I did his way, actually, but I'm still so mad about it. Can't believe I was treated that way by an imbecile. um, I guess the sad thing is that now that I'm not in school anymore, haven't been for a while, I could just do what I want, and so I never really take the time to practice as much as I think I should. And I still do from time to time. Got a few sketches over there lying on the ground, but probably been 4 or 5 months since I've tried to do any serious drawing. Um, Fortunately, there's just like this Sculpt January thing, which is like 3 months of no, I'm sorry, 30 days of sculpt prompts. There's a figure drawing thing that I might do also. Of course, I couldn't put that on YouTube. Yeah, let it flow through me. Oh yeah. Um, couldn't put that on YouTube probably. I definitely couldn't put it on Twitch or wherever else I'm streaming this. Um, Figure drawing involves nude figures. Uh, but I'm probably gonna do it even if I don't like show anybody my work. Very rewarding to be good at drawing at people. Good at drawing people. Because it's something everybody can recognize and everybody can tell if you do it badly. The whole uncanny valley thing, right? People are naturally tuned to the way other humans look. We can spot a fraud a mile away. Or so if you can draw a person well, if you can pull that off, then you can pull that off, then you really are pretty good at drawing because even people who have no idea anything about anatomy or drawing, or positive and negative space, anything like that, they can spot a bad drawing of a person. They'll be like, "Oh, look, his eyes look funny. What's up with that? His arms are too long." Or if you ask them to draw the arms the right length, and they wouldn't be able to do it. Doesn't matter. They can still tell that it's bad. So that's why I always thought it was really rewarding to be able to do it well. And why I was particularly vexed that that class was so awful, especially after the first one was so good. Um, what can you do? Just gotta accept what you get, how you get it, I guess. Just the way of this world. Um, I don't want to spend too much time blocking this out because gotta get the sculpt in it. Um, feel like I'm gonna spend the time either way because this is such a complex object that pretty much guaranteed it's gonna be a huge amount of work to get this. Looking right now. I wish I understood. I haven't ever done much art of animals. I tend to focus on humans or humanoid things. I understood like these weird what's up with these weird like front teethy portions. Like what? I don't even know how to find out about that. I feel like there's so many wonderful mysteries in the world that spend your entire life just trying to learn. You'll never run out of like stuff to fascinate you and make you feel small. Kind of good to feel small sometimes, especially with how flooded the world is with all kinds of information and ideas. You know, most of that stuff is just like it's on social media, it's in the news. It's just a bunch of filler, it's a bunch of crap to make you stupider. But I feel like learning about animals and living things, that's where the real fulfillment. Well, it's not where all the fulfillment is, I guess. It's just, uh, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think the thing that is most important to do if you can is to try to create and experience beauty, especially if you're an artist, right? What world did I do here? How did I make it happen? Um, it's actually something that I think is either already kind of lost. I'm not showing my screen. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. This is my second time doing this. I feel like such an idiot. Thank you so much for pointing that out. It'd be a lot more interesting if I was doing something other than talking, huh? um, I swear by the third time I'm gonna know what I'm doing here. I'm too embarrassed to continue talking. Uh, I think that for artists, it's really important to focus on beauty, and I think that that's kind of being lost in the world of the fine arts in a lot of ways because everybody's doing like modernist stuff. A lot of really great rant videos on YouTube about like how terrible modern architecture is and how terrible modern art is. I'm sure you've probably seen them. And I don't entirely agree with that. I think there is some merit to some of that stuff. Uh, I'm so sorry about uh, messing up the display there. Not trying to waste anybody's time. Thank you for sticking with me. I think there is some merit to like modern art stuff. It kind of points out the absurdity of it all in a way that's like so utterly ridiculous that even if you can't acknowledge that there's anything of value in the things that they make, the work itself, uh, you can at least admire the shrewdness it takes to come up with those kinds of grifts. Like, the people that like, there's an art museum in Colorado somewhere, or in California or something, where there's literally just a giant boulder on display. Just a giant boulder. And the thing that makes it art is you walk underneath the boulder when you're going uh, through a part of the museum. That's art. Uh, I've been blocking out this cow skull. um, Gotta add some horns. Gonna sculpt after that. If you do a good enough job blocking stuff out, you don't have to work very hard sculpting, hopefully. Um, uh, One of the things that I hope to do with my career is do more than just. And of course, an artist saying, "Oh, I want to do more." All of us want to do more. We always end up just doing whatever we can do to get a paycheck. But I think that's the thing that I want to stick to, right? Is making things that are in themselves valuable, because I don't know if I'm going to say there is such a thing as objective beauty, but I think there is such a thing as well, I think that beauty can be a real thing. It's not something that's tangible. It's not something you can really identify directly, but you know it when you see it. Um, teeth in there. Not really sure what these shapes on the inside are like. I'm probably just going to quickly fake something in sculpt mode for that part. Uh, I guess the teeth are in rows. I spent long enough staring at these things when I was in university. I should really know by now what they look like. Tooth. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm. Hey there, Caleb. Yeah, it's kind of like love, right? Um, it's funny. Except I was saying that beauty in art is something that can be real. So in that way, it's not like love. Um, I think I'm mostly just complaining because I actually went to art school. It wasn't a fancy art school. but I kind of got to see both sides of it. I got the really pretty intense drawing class my first year, but I also got to see all of the like upperclassmen doing stupid things like I don't even remember because it was stupid. But yeah, like performance art. Uh, there's nothing stupider than performance art, so I guess I can stop with that. Really doesn't get any dumber than that. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Love isn't real. It's just an illusion. It's just a chemical reaction in your mind. The way to make it real is to, well, I don't even know if there is a way. Am I pessimistic about that? Maybe. But perhaps it's just because I'm living in a world where everything's been boiled down to efficiency products. And kind of wish I lived in a simpler time, you know? What I would give to live in a place with streams, waterfalls, and like farms. And everybody knows each other. And sure, that's all just a bunch of idyllic fantasy, but it sure seems real in the movies. Am I so wrong for wishing it could really exist? Oh gosh, maybe it is like love. Something that only exists in the movies. Ah, these teeth are giving me trouble. I'm really frightened of this next step where I have to actually make this look cow skull. Now, I think this upper part is X-ray. There we go. This upper part is like split into pieces. I think I will go ahead and do that really quickly. Then I'll move on to sculpting. If I was working on a model for like a video game or something, I probably wouldn't even go any further than this. Come on, who's gonna see? If anybody does bother to check that, like the thing has got like the split in the front of its nose. Pretty annoyed about that. I'd be like, gotta stop making developers and artists kill themselves over tiny details no one's supposed to see. But it's never gonna stop. It's usually me. I'm usually the one actually focusing on the tiny details no one will ever see. At work, people are like, "That's good enough, man. Just leave it how it is." And I just can't. I wonder. I bet that's normal for artists. Fortunately, I'm in a position where I don't make the rules or anything, but I kind of get to call a lot of the shots. I get to call out the shots, guys. I'm an important fella. You get to call a lot of the shots when your team's only 3 or 4 people. Um, as it is for me right now. uh, but it also means we got to be even more careful about how we spend our time on the art stuff. And you give me enough time, and it'll eventually be you can't tell it apart from the real thing. Nobody's got time for that. Well, I'm having a lot of fun with this Sculpt January thing is because it's finally forcing me to get that practice time in that I've been kind of neglecting for a while. Does it have a different number of... I think I've mentioned this already, but I just love the 3D cursor. It makes it so easy to manipulate things. Someday I'll make a video about why I love the 3D cursor, and I'll go into long and exhaustive detail, explaining and expounding upon all of its many uses. Every time I want to make a video, I'm worried that I'll forget something, and I end up just like, oh no, I'll mess it up, and then sometimes I just don't do it. I haven't been making videos lately just because I've been too overwhelmed by my day job. I've essentially been learning how to be responsible on the timeline of a production. You know, it's one thing to be good at art and to just do it as fast or as slow as you're allowed to, as you allow yourself to for your own personal projects, I mean. But to be able to adapt your speed and the level of detail you use, and the not just the level of detail and the speed, but also like the design. Sometimes the design doesn't work unless you make it unless you change the way it looks, you know? Um, and that's really hard to do, especially when you're working with other people, right? Because everybody's got their own vision in their head, and communicating that vision can be really difficult. But if you don't communicate it, then all of your work is going to be mismatched. You'll be able to tell which artist did which by looking at it, and that's actually really not something you want in a team production, in my opinion. I mean, being able to watch Tarzan and tell which scenes were animated by Glenn Keane isn't quite the same as watching Tarzan and thinking, you know, a whole bunch of different artists were working in their own style while working on this movie. You know, in one case, you can tell which artist did it because it's so brilliant that literally no one else on Earth has the capability of making something as impressive as that. On the other hand, you can tell who did it because it just looks lazy. Looks like there was no planning. That's something I'm terrified of. I always want to avoid it. And I think I've mostly avoided it so far in my work. But enforcing higher standards would usually solve that problem, but you also have to have the time to enforce the standards, and it's a balancing act, and I've been learning how to juggle. Learning how to juggle. A lot of fun. How to juggle. And that's why I don't think that that was time wasted, because most of the people that are doing what I'm doing and going through the daily pressure of a production schedule for a studio, those people are so busy with that they they don't have time to pass on what they've learned, and maybe they aren't willing to. Maybe they're like, oh, you know, I had to work hard to earn these skills. Other people should have to go through just as much as hell as I did in order to get there. Feel here. Are you still bisecting? Stop bisecting. I don't have my screen or my audio still wrong, do I? Um, So eventually, when I have the time to write full scripts, and I'm going to make time for it, now that I'm doing this, committed, make time for it, and I'm going to try to start incorporating some of these production tricks and ideas and techniques, start making them into tutorials, videos, and lessons so that other people can benefit from all the work I've done. Feel like I'm using open source software, I should contribute to the world around it, right? Just part being a good citizen of the Blender community. Uh, Also, I'd like to see Blender thrive. And I think there's a dearth of good information regarding the more business side of things that Blender artists really do need. Because most of them start out as self-taught hobbyists. Because, you know, universities, for whatever reason, they don't teach it. I have my suspicions that their reasons are not entirely pure. But in the absence of evidence, I can't really rightfully say that they're getting kickbacks from the big companies to shill their products to unsuspecting students who don't know any better. Um, the thought has crossed my mind that that might be happening, but I can't know for sure. Um, that's something I can do in sculpt mode. So let's bring these teeth into a different model. What I'm probably going to do is model two teeth, one for the front and one for the molar, and then I'm just going to duplicate them. I really can't be bothered to. I can't be bothered to do all that work. That's too much work. I am a busy person, busy guy. Other things I need to do with my life. I did remember to include my screencast keys so you can see what I'm doing here. I use a lot of hotkeys, and it's critical to getting work done fast. And I also use the Python console a lot. You know, for the types at the bottom, you can't see it, but always doing different things to speed up my workflow. I want other people to learn that stuff, so that's why I'm trying to get back into this. Apologize if I'm repeating myself too much. It's actually really hard to think of interesting things to say while you're also working on sculpting a character. And there's a possibility it makes my actual work suffer. The brilliant animator Richard Williams has a really great comic of Disney animator Milt Kahl. The real thing that happened while he was studying under Milt Kahl. Yes. Do you ever listen to classical music while you work? And Milt Kahl looks at him and he says, "Of all the stupid questions I've ever heard, that is the worst one. I'm not smart enough to do two things at once." And so the lesson was, don't listen to music while you work. Focus on what you're doing. And that's why I probably shouldn't be talking right now, but I'm doing it anyways. Old people don't know nothing. That's why they got old. I don't need to worry about that. Okay, save this. Gotta get ready for the actual scary sculpty part. Somebody's sending me a message. Leave me alone, I'm busy. In fact, let me silence my phone. Sorry about that. I'll call him back later. For this, I gotta do it. Gotta push ahead. Go into sculpt mode. Let's sculpt mode. Where's my? There it is. Remesh. 0.2. Find that that's a pretty good size. Volume. And that is not what I was expecting. This is non-manifold. Let's fix our bad geometry. What's wrong with it? Maybe it's because I didn't apply the mirror modifier yet. And let's go. Speaking of not listening to music while I work, I forgot to put on my background music. I don't play music on my stream because I don't want to deal with copyright. And I don't put it in my videos because I figure if you want to watch my videos, you can also listen to your own music. But today I'm listening to Russian humor music. There's a million Russian doomer music playlists, and it's surprisingly good stuff. It's like they got the like the grunge and the punk rocks and all that stuff 20 or 30 years later than America did, but it's just as good over there as it ever was here in the United Kingdom. Hey, that's not supposed to look like that. What's going on there? It's like I didn't quite finish this off. There was a fan favorite Full Metal Alchemist episode about me. Are you about to call me short? You better not. All messed up. Go. Music is not software, no. um, but it is copyrighted, which means that it's annoying for a lot of reasons. I write a lot of music. It's another one of my hobbies. And I think I'm probably, if I ever release any of it, I'm probably just gonna release it for like all rights reserved, but share it if you want to, kind of thing. Because I want people to listen to it if I'm gonna put it out there, right? Uh, there we go. Okay, now it should work. I don't think that's shaped the right way. I gotta stop the endless tweaking. Caleb, you're not making any sense. Not everybody has memorized every episode of every anime show like you have, apparently. Also, move out of the basement. Besides, what does that episode have to do with me? Nothing. Okay, let's go. Remesh. It worked. Oh gosh, now I have to do the hard part. I'm sure that I'm happy about this. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and hide the side view and the top view for now. My drawing tablet here is a XP Pen Star 6, the wireless version, but I have it plugged in right now. And pretty happy with it so far. Doesn't seem to have tilt support on Linux, even though it was advertised to. But whatever, you know. Someday I'll try to install the open source driver and see if I can get tilt working. Or see if I can get it working at all, for that matter. I've got a friend that uses ZBrush and he sculpts with a mouse. The guy spent $1,000 on the software and he couldn't spend $60 on one of these tablet things. Pathetic. I still call him up every once in a while just to make fun of him. Then he calls me a freetard and a blindlet. Then I start crying. Day Unknown Spaghetti recommends. It is Russian Doomer music, and I have no idea how to say or spell or communicate this in any way, so I'm just going to plonk it in the chat, and you can look it up and find it. Good stuff. Did it go? Am I tech illiterate? Go, do it. And send. I don't think YouTube recognizes non-English characters. Scrape brush is the right tool for this job. I might do some artistic interpretation in the shape of this cow skull on account of the fact that I really honestly can't always tell what's going on. Yeah, I think it's funny that the band's name looks like it's spelling Kino, and the music is super Kino. I have no idea what it's probably pronounced like Rushko or Yipyobja or something. But there's no way to read those alien letters. If indeed letters they are. Letters you can't read are hardly letters. Wow, these things' eyes are like on the side of their head. That's weird. How do they see in front of them? Go. That looks like an eye socket. Doesn't quite have that. Oh, what? You can read Cyrillic now too? Sure, you can. Where did you find time to learn to read Cyrillic? Also, what evidence do you have that Cyrillic is even a real alphabet? Its only source is Old Church Slavonic, which is a dead language no one knows how to speak. Try and prove me wrong about that. That roundness. Svedanya. I think there's some, like, bony thing around here, probably. Man, that'll look good if I do that. I think. Doesn't matter if it looks realistic. I think I have these horns tapering a lot more than this reference image. But, oh, don't be ridiculous. The Russian language is a descendant of Kievan Rus, of course. Oh, shoot, they're connected now. What have I done? Why did I do it? How do I fix it? Why did I let such a stupid thing happen to me? Especially since I think that the jawbone, like, goes into the side or something. Like, I think you can see it. Maybe I could find a good reference image on the internet. I have a, I'm afraid to switch to my other screen, my reference image screen, because I'm probably going to forget to, to switch it back. And for that matter, you never know what's going to show up on Google image search, or DuckDuckGo in this case. I'm getting sleepy. There we go. But maybe if I do it, I'll get better at remembering what I'm showing and not leave no screen going for 30 or 40 minutes at a time. Sorry about that. That was embarrassing. Oh, there's a big cavity behind the cow's eye. It's like a sinus or something. Well, let's go back into sculpt mode. And we can do mask from, face set from edit mode selection. Did it go through? And you show me face sets. Yes. I think there used to be a mask from edit mode selection. I don't know why that's not there anymore. Doesn't seem like it's doing it. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe I can't. Oh, I can't do that with Dentopo on. That's what's going on. Well, I guess I'll just do it like this. Mesh. And why won't you let me remesh? Because of Dentopo. Oh my goodness. Let's solve this problem. There's a very simple way to solve this problem. That doesn't involve any real work or thinking. Just get rid of the get rid of these unnecessary connection parts. We don't like them. And now what we can do is we can go to mesh, clean up, fill holes. I think the highest this will go is 100. Oh, 1,000. They upgraded it. Now we should be able to remesh it, no problem. Hey, look at that. It worked. I feel so smart. Right. I think what I'm going to do, kill that half of it. I'm going to do a clever trick where I make a linked duplicate. And invert its X scale. Now, as you can see, it does a different kind of mirroring than it was doing before. Maybe I can mask this. And just kind of flip that over. I feel like my grab brush is weaker than it should be. It's because of symmetry. Nothing to symmetrize. So it's kind of wasted on this. Guess I don't really care too much about how it looks on the inside, but it was just too fat. I have to admit, I don't really understand the anatomy of this part of anything. I think on people, maybe even on animals, it connects at the end here and not at the side. Maybe. Maybe I'll try to do that. Snake hook for that. Press K for the snake hook brush. Cool. That looks silly. That looks fine. Part right here got kind of cut off. Let's fix that. And now you. One thing that Blender is missing, and I don't know if other sculpt softwares have it or not. One thing that it's missing that I would really love to have is a tool for like cutting into the mesh. That's probably a thing in ZBrush. Almost certainly it's a thing in ZBrush. I'd love to have something for that here. Because the way that I have to cut into the mesh is usually either a Boolean modifier, which is tedious, or an edit mode, which is tedious. Got to deal with this anyways. Might as well also cut through here. Of course, it would remind you of something in Dark Souls. This guy is obsessed with Dark Souls. You know, they designed all that stuff after the real animals, not the other way around. Read a book. Get off Reddit for once in your life. If you can even do that. It's so tricky to get all these, oh gosh, oh my. Those annoying little triangles are causing me so much pain. This time I'm not doing the fill holes thing, because I want to keep one of them. Uh, That's rather annoying. That's annoying. Nuked. Destroyed. Forward to make it consistent. And, oh, I'm not using the mirror modifier right now. Bisect it. Flip the bisect. Very cool. Let's see if this will work. Honestly, that's good enough. Still, it looks like a hole here. Thought I filled that. What? Why is it invisible? Things like this have to happen to me and only me. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Oh. I'm just doing the wrong side of it, okay. Maybe I should go back a step then. I wonder if anybody has ever done like a Blender stream with live Q&A before and a tutorial channel. Maybe I should try that. Usually it's kind of one or the other, you know. The only questions you get answered are the ones that people bother to make videos for. Um, that's no fun, right? There's some kind of weird, janky thing on the side here. I'm looking back because I've got a cow skull on my shelf actually from that I bought when I was in university. Uh, Maybe I'll go over there and get it so that I can look at it. Because I honestly have no idea what this thing is shaped like. Going slow because of the mirror modifier. I'll get rid of that in a second. Part at the end here. Weird stuff happening. What is the average airspeed of an unladen swallow? Is this one of those how is a raven like a writing desk things? There's a B in both and a neither. You know, one of those stupid nonsense questions that doesn't have an answer, or does there's like a real answer to that? Is that a reference to uh Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Is it embarrassing that I don't know? I'm as big a fan of British humor as the next guy. I'll have you know. There we go. We should be able to remesh that, but we gotta cut the hole here in the... Yeah, I'm gonna grab my cow skull off the shelf. Give me just a moment here. Will I be able to get it down without breaking something or myself? If you can see it. Show it to you. I'm going to wash my hands after touching this, of course. Also, I'm very upset to learn that this thing is in fact hollow on the inside. This is really distressing. Just keeps getting more and more difficult. Why do these kind of things happen to me? Okay. Softball sculpting. This kind of becomes the bottom half of this, where it's like inside the top part of the jaw. And this whole area must be like its nose or something. I don't know how that works. Honestly, I'm starting to feel pretty intimidated. I don't know why I chose such a difficult answer to what could have been a straightforward and simple topic. I mean, skull and crossbones, I could have made like a tiny little pirate guy or something, right? Or skull and bones, doesn't have to be crossbones. Okay, let's see, there's like holes on the inside. This part over here connects to it somehow. Could not tell you how. What the heck? I thought I filled that hole. Why do these things only happen to me? I deserve better than this. There we go. Probably just ended up cutting it out. Second. Like this whole area is it's like flat, thin, and empty. But it's not the cranium. You know, cows don't have very big brains. It's like the well, I have no idea what it is. It's like a sinus or something. It's just starting to look more like a real thing. Unfortunately, I don't have a jaw on mine. It'd be twice as big if it had the jaw. So I'm gonna have to use the internet to help me figure out what the jaw's shape is. Also, this one doesn't appear to have any horns. How's that possible? Well, I think I've got the horns coming out of the wrong part of its head. This sort of like keeps going back there. What was I thinking getting actual reference? I should just cartoon it and call it a day. Okay, let's go ahead. Dupe this. Apply the dupe. So actually don't need to do any more cutting into it for this part. I will remesh it now. Gotta be in sculpt mode to do that. Well, that's annoying. Okay. Smaller voxels. I feel like that's gotten faster. I still remember when that was a new feature. I remember when the voxel remesh was like a far off, wished for, but impossible dream. I'm such an old fellow. I can just symmetrize it. It actually is good to have some asymmetry at some point. But that should be saved towards the end. And even ideally you can shoot, I went too far. Ideally you can use shape keys to do that. I don't know if that's a good idea to do that with a sculpt because it's like it has really ugly geometry. Hard to manage. But recently I saw a video of Kit Trammell doing like human portraits. He just released a tutorial that it's like a deep dive into realistic human portraiture in 3D. Really great stuff. And he uses shape keys to make one like model of a person change from male to female, old to young, and vice versa, and um and like switch ethnicities and all kinds of cool stuff with the shape keys on a really messy sculpted mesh that he made with Dintopo. So I guess anything's possible if you set your mind to it. Maybe I'll do that later for the asymmetrical details. I need Dintopo for this because it looks like there's a spur of bone coming out of the end. Once again, I think I'm going to disable. Whoops! Oh, shoot! I'm gonna disable symmetry, and I'm gonna be kind of. Just gonna do one side and symmetrize it. Solve one problem at a time, if ever you can. That's what I believe you should do. Pose brush is another one of those things that's just miraculous that it exists. I'm very, very thankful that this is software that I can afford to use. And it's really opened my eyes to the possibility of, I'm going to talk about this a lot now and in the future, but I call it the gratefulness economy, which is where you can get something without necessarily expecting anything returned from everybody that gets it. And they can give something back based on how much they liked it, based on how thankful they feel for having received it. And that way you're freed from the whole Caleb said something about it, Full Metal Alchemist earlier, but it's like you're freed from the idea of equivalent exchange, where you buy a product for what it's worth, and you only give so much, and you never give any more because I've already paid for it. That's what it was worth to me. But when you're giving out of gratefulness in return for having received something that you liked, there's no limit to how much you can give, and there's no reason why there should be if you got it for free. And I think that it'd be hard to get it to work because people are awful, but it's something that that I think could really happen, and I think is happening in the Blender community. I don't think I'm giving people too much credit because just look at how successful all of these open source software projects are. They're being funded by people out of gratefulness and not out of obligation. And like 90% of the people that use them don't give a penny. They're being funded by, in some cases, businesses that use them professionally. And in many cases by individuals that just give back out of the gratefulness of their heart. And I think if you are a person with the ability to do so, and you're using free and open source software, you should consider giving financially or in the form of bug fixes and testing and submitting bug reports. Of course, there's no reason you can't do all of those things. I myself have submitted quite a few bug reports and even a few patches for Blender. I've got 2 or 3. I think I only got 2 patches, but several of the reports I made, Python bugs, I solved them and showed how to fix them in the bug report. So even if you don't have money, you can still give back if you have the right skills. Oh, turn off mirror. Things are like kind of flat and spiky. Probably can't see the cow skull anymore. But when I'm bending over like that, it's to look at the cow skull over here on my table. You know what? That might actually connect, and mine might just be broken. So I think that's how I'm gonna do this. What's it? Shift A, Control A. Hey, look, you've had me muted this whole time. You're breaking my heart, man. It is Shift A. Why isn't it working? Shift A. Is it because I'm in Dentopo? I bet it's Dentopo. Why is this happening to me? Oh. Somehow I disabled viewing the mask. Yeah, I thought you were fooling with me, man. I've been talking about how good of my mic doesn't sound good tonight. Oh shoot! I thought I tested it. Honestly, I have a very good mic, but I don't have very good space. There's not much I can do about that. So I don't really know. I don't really know what I could do to improve it further. I'll spend some time on that tomorrow. I invert the mask. It sounds like a filter is on it. I did put an equalizer on it. Maybe that's what I did wrong. I don't really know how to equalize stuff. So I know this guy IRL, and he's particularly attuned to the sound of a person's voice because he's like a speech therapist or something. I don't really know what he does, but I think he knows what he's talking about. He's still a big jerk for saying it. Thank you for your feedback. Much appreciated. I'm squished. Hold on. Does it sound better now or worse? Better or worse, maybe? Worse or better? Same? Did it change at all? I need to start a new Russian Doomer music playlist. That one went by fast. Oh my gosh, how late is it? Oh, it's midnight. Well, considering this one counts for multiple, I might have to put a pin on this one and bring it back up later. I only did one thing, so it was probably just the equalizer I added sounded terrible. Well, yeah, that's the other thing I've been doing in that period of absence is saving up money and acquiring better technology. I've got a lot of money invested in this setup now. Not, the most expensive in the world, but I'm kind of proud of it. And I'm going to keep improving it too. All right. Symmetrize. Oh gosh, no. All right. Now we're gonna remesh it again. Oh, come on. You gotta do me like that, remesh. There we go. And now we wait. Actually, sometimes this is a little bit concerning. Sometimes voxel remesh can just nuke your computer. Which it looks like it didn't do this time. Be very careful not to set it to too low of a voxel count. Oh, I'm gonna cuss out loud. Why do these kinds of things happen to me and only me? What did I do to deserve this? I'm literally such a good person. Yeah, it's like I'm a Capra demon, but all those first of all, demons are bad and scary and mean. So I wouldn't make one of those because I don't like them. They're scary and mean. Second, they were modeled after real goat skulls. Because people sacrifice goats to them. So, anyhow, this is a cow, not a goat. It's definitely not a demon. Get some symmetry up in here. I don't know anything about the succubuses in Dark Souls. Is that like a thing? But I don't want to spoil the joke for you. But there's an anime called Konosuba. It's one of those isekai alternate world shows, right? And it's in like a medieval fantasy, like adventure type. And one of the episodes is about how the male adventurers are allowing succubuses to live in the city as like a subscription pay-per-view service to give them good dreams at night. it's it's pretty hilarious. Kind of kind of horrible, but pretty hilarious. That episode might as well be called that. Most of the time, it's pretty wholesome. Well, most of the time, it's safe for work, anyways. In Japan, they've got like two different. They've got light novels and they've got mangas or manga or whatever you want to call it. Uh, which are things that I guess we just don't have it in America. You know, it feels like unique parts of their media that they have a market for and we don't. Although we do import it, and I don't know why none of that stuff is being produced domestically by Americans. Not saying that we should copy them or anything, but like, why should we import it and then not try to do it ourselves? You know? That's a mystery to me. I think like one Japanese manga, I don't remember which one it was, but like one of them outsold the entirety of the American comic book industry. Recently. Gross. Yeah. Caleb just wrote it exactly. It's outcompeted by like one manga. What's up with that? So why don't we like why are ours so bad? Like, and I've met people that love American comic books, and I tried to get them to like explain them to me, and it was just too much. Like that's more than I would be able to get into. Um, I wonder if it would be possible for like a startup company to create those kinds of story-based media in a subscription service the way they have it over there. They're like their Jump magazines. You'd have to have really good stuff from the beginning or it would fail. And you'd have to have probably in addition to just the money it would take to make it, you'd want to have like 5 or 6 stories probably that are good. Maybe a half dozen others that aren't as good. Then you'd need probably $50,000 to do the initial print run, and then you'd need maybe 2 or 3 times that much to do the marketing. But then again, these days anything can happen on Kickstarter, right? Same reason our soccer players are bad. Are our soccer players bad? Do you think maybe all the athletic talent in America is going towards football? I mean, like our version of football. I'm not talking about football. I'm talking about American football. USA. Right. All of this stuff right here, that's wrong. So the whole thing is. Is there a better way to get rid of that? It's like a, how do I lasso mask? Shift control. A hotkey I don't know. What world is this? Now I think I can use the mask. Let's see. I can use the mask to cut this. Let's find out. Mask slice and oh no, I clicked on the wrong thing. Oh gosh. I need to fill the holes. Mask slice and fill holes. It's plenty of talent, but the people that can make it good would lose out if they did. More overall hands in the pot means less for those few. Yeah, yeah. Oh, now the face sets are working. What's up? Why wasn't they working earlier? I don't even want them anymore. And I swear, if this... Well, this is going to take a while. Yeah, I'm afraid I've kind of stopped paying attention to American sports. I never really did pay attention, but I don't even get TV anymore. Because why spend the... What is it, like 80, 90 bucks a month for cable? Oh, crap, I can't use that. Um... I never even know what's going on. I do occasionally pay attention to what the Magic are doing because I don't know if this is nationwide or just here in Florida, but Papa John's has a thing where they give free pizza on the day of a Magic win. So I'm usually a Marco's guy, but I'll be unfaithful to my pizza place for a good reason like that. Free pizza doesn't get much better than free pizza, right? Oh, my American is showing. All right, let's remesh this. While I stare at my cow skull reference. Yeah, this is it done yet? No. Yeah, there it is. Cool. Okay. So, this was much harder than I expected it to be. And I expected it to be, I guess, fairly difficult. I don't know why I chose something that's hard. For the next one, for the next topic, I promise I'm going to be like super chill and easy about it. Do something that a child could do in his sleep. The eyes are too far. There we go. And it's like, you must realize sports are deeply spiritual. It's all a Gerardian sacrificial system, and we are reaching its limits. How'd I do? What the heck is a Gerardian sacrificial system? Right. 9 out of 10. Wait, what am I doing? Right. I don't know if I got emotional enough to be a Jordan Peterson. That's the only real problem there. Okay. Crease there. You know, I just had a thought. This skull and bones, right? I don't have to finish this the right way. I'm going to save this. I'm going to increment my save. I am going to finish this up. We must mimic our parents or guardians to have our desire. Have created desire to pursue. Basically, the populace needs a way to vent and hate one another. Sports replace the battlefield. That's spoiled. That's spoiled way down. The lobster has the same psychological passageways as human beings, because it's like it's the same. Same concept as throwing a virgin into a volcano. Okay, it's like the purge. Okay, I think the horns are above this. Sacrificing your best animal. Yeah, way to vent or purge. Um, so the top of these things is almost kite shaped. Part of the end is kind of pointy. And it's like that, and then it's like down to there. So let's get that shape right. That makes a big difference. Oh, it's buffering. Is there something wrong with my stream? Looks like I'm fine over here and over here. Um, Maybe it's only buffering on your end. Either way, I'm going to keep going. Let's see. So there's some weird jangly bits on the other side of this thing, but what I'm going to do, this is skull and bones. So let's turn off symmetry. Let's do that lasso select thing. How do I subtract when I do that? Oh, it's probably like this. Probably like this. No, I don't know. uh, guess I'll try again. Oh gosh. Go ahead and sharpen our mask. I remember hearing about a South American country, Peru, if memory serves me right, where a specific region has a dedicated day where everybody beats the crap out of each other. That sounds like quite a place. Let's go ahead and mask slice the new object, baby. Oh gosh, it's past midnight. I haven't even had much of my dark orange colored liquid. That Kino song is playing on my Doomer playlist again. Nice. This is a sign. Uh, oh gosh. Oh, that was wrong. What a mistake. Uh, let's go ahead. Mask, slice, new object. Um, yeah, I almost wonder if people need something like that to just like get the rage out, because um, there's a certain manifesto that talks about how people have become over socialized and how we're like completely different than our natural situation as humans. Try to slice that and fill holes. Like I think that the utter lack of hunting. You know, humans were hunter gatherers for forever. We don't have anything like hunting in our day-to-day life. And I think maybe it causes us either to not be as aggressive as we should be, or maybe it makes us channel our aggression into other less healthy places. Um, and are you referring to that time where you drank like half a glass of scotch and the next day everybody was calling you uh like some German name and you're like, I don't know who that guy is, why do you keep calling me that? I can't hold his liquor. You believe that? Pathetic. So, how is Note Spaghetti gonna do Skull and Bones? Here's how he's gonna do it. I think. Oh gosh, what have I done? Um, yes, I know there was a faster way to do that. I don't care. Sorry about that. I screwed it up. Did it right that time though. Let's make this its own thing. Apply its scale. Normal. Get angry at walls for some reason. It's a good thing walls stop any of kind of force you try to put on them, right? They don't like get broken and leave holes. That's good. Yeah, we need to work outside. Nobody gets enough exercise. I don't get enough exercise. Earlier when I took this chair over there to try to like stand on it to get this cow skull, I was worried it would break while I'm live streaming and everybody would laugh at me and call me fat. Um I don't get enough exercise. Now that I'm a professional artist, I'm on my computer all the time. All right. Boiled? Oh, I better don't be a dingus, Joseph. Let's decimate this first. Got 500 million polygons here. You calling me an alcoholic? Yeah, sometimes I wonder if becoming agricultural was the thing that was where humans went wrong. I think we were more free back in the, back in ancient times. No, we were also desperate and miserable and poor, but everybody was equally poor because there was nothing to go around. So I think people were, in a way, a lot more equal and a lot more free back in those days. And the reason why we're all so unhappy now is because the blood that's coursing through our veins still remembers when we were hunter-gatherers all those thousands of years ago, which is nothing, in the grand scale of things, just a blink of an eye. All right. This is a rigid body. And we're going to do mesh. Hopefully it can handle it. If I was smart, I would do some low poly version of the collision shape. But I'm not smart and I don't care. That took a concerningly long time. Humans have always been agricultural. What makes you think that? Okay, let's find out if this is too much for my blender to handle while I'm streaming. Yeah, this is way too much for my blender to handle. Oh my, it is crashed. It is rashed. It's critter. Well, take a little break here, I guess. I want to learn more about history, because agriculture equals beer. Well, Ed, I don't recall you ever getting angry when you're drinking beer. It was just the whiskey that turned you into a raging maniac. Ooh, my blender is frozen. I'm gonna have to arrange them manually like some kind of pleb. Believe that? Ridiculous. Pathetic waste of breath. I'm so dumb. Alright, recover. Save. That was from 11 o'clock. Why haven't you been auto-saving, Blender? Whatever. I saved it recently. So what have we learned? Save before you do something that might crash Blender. Especially if you're streaming it and you don't want to make people watch an empty blank, boring. Uh, okay, remove that. And let's sharpen the mask. Yeah, good night, Caleb. Oh, I intend to return to Monkey. Just as soon as I can afford to move out of this freaking apartment. I hate having a landlord. And I appreciate the rage. I appreciate the participation. You're giving me something to talk about. Sometimes it's hard to think of things to talk about. You know, I like to be more of a listener. You know, I like to let other people do the talking so I can do the listening. I'm just a caring soul like that. But if I'm gonna be on the interwebs, I don't want to be boring. I guess it's kind of hard not to be when you're live streaming the arts. This stuff takes quite a bit of concentration. Let's go ahead and split that. I'm almost done here anyways. I'm just gonna arrange these objects. I don't even think I'm gonna sculpt over him anymore. I don't really have time. I've already been recording for 2 hours. I guess that's my new 1 hour. Planning on doing for 1 hour. Maybe you can tell that I'm also stupider now than I used to be. Can't talk. It happens when I'm up too late. It's all really impressive stuff that the Blender is doing. If you've ever tried to do the matrix math to like split two objects apart into different objects and then set their origins, and like it's really vexing, annoying stuff. And it's hard to do. And I bet you that that wasn't even a consideration for our Pablo de Barro. Imagine being that smart. I'm probably going to try to do some live add-on coding soon. I have an idea for an add-on that would be useful to everybody. I don't really want to put the effort into making it good, but maybe I will. And if I do, I think I'll put it on the Blender market for like $1 or something and see if I can. And I'm also gonna put it on my GitLab. Not trying to rip y'all off. But I want to start trying to find ways of making this profitable. Partially because I've spent some money on my gear and I'd like to get some money back from it. Partially because I think it'll help me motivate to do better and more stuff. So, clean. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty ready to go to sleep. So we're gonna make this a desert. Desert sand. And we're gonna make this stone. It's too dark. That's got a bit more of that. Good. See, it's 0.65, 0.5. How's that look? Not yellow enough. No, okay, 0.1. Oh, jawbones. Sorry, Samson, nothing you can use here. This is the cow, not a donkey. Go find another set of bones. Actually, another way to fulfill that organic weapon thing is with the jawbone of an ass, which Samson used as a very effective weapon against those Philistines. And it'd also be kind of like a commentary on the arts, because it's like people who don't appreciate art are called Philistines, right? So you basically be saying, you have to appreciate my stupid interpretation of the prompt, or else you're a Philistine and I'm going to kill you with with the with the jawbone of an ass. Okay. I'm going to save it this time, because I'm not an idiot, but I am going to use rigid bodies for this. Check out how all of these guys that I want to scatter and move. Oh, crud. Let's put them over there for now. Are they being mirrored? Oh, crap. Mesh and separate by loose parts. There we go. Origin to geometry. Good, good, good. So, gonna use face snapping. Plonk that down. That didn't work. So we need to set it to project individual elements, including the vertices and the edges. And now I've got a fairly decent collision mesh, these guys. Set it as a passive rigid body object. Set these guys to be active. We're gonna copy the modifier to all those. Now I'm gonna save it. And fall, teeth fall. I want you. What's your deal? Hey, where'd they go? There we go. Ah. Oh, I'm gonna pickle here. I'm quite pickled. I think it's because I had snapping on that they were acting all stupid. Alright, y'all. Y'all guys. Ah. So I think there's like a copy physics. A constraint. Man, way back in Blender 2.7, it was in the left side of the screen here. In a menu that we don't even have anymore. Rigid body. Copy from active. There we go. Found it. I do it. Oh gosh. Oh my. This needs to be a passive. Is it just me or did those guys all explode for no reason? The way to fix that. 3D cursor, we want to move only their location and just scale them up. Go. Cool. Now, when I press the button, I don't like how they're all scattering like that. You. Need more friction, please. Lots of friction. You know what? Those don't look good anyways. I'm just going to get rid of them. I forgot that I hadn't sculpted them yet. So in that case... Skull and bones. I feel like I solved that problem in a pretty smart way. Alright. Thank you for tuning in if you've been watching me. This has been Node Spaghetti Live, Sculpt January 2022, Skull and Bones. I'd like to do a full sculpt of that thing someday, but it would be at least a 6-hour proposition. So I'm gonna stop here. Appreciate very much anyone who's taken the time to join me. And if I can think of something to make tomorrow, then I'm gonna sculpt again tomorrow. I'm probably gonna do it even if I can't think of anything. So thank you. Have a good night, everybody. And happy Friday, because it's actually Friday now. So